Picture this for a moment. You're sitting in a room full of people during a big game. Maybe it's a cricket match, maybe football, maybe the finals everyone has been talking about all week. The TV is loud, the commentators are shouting, and every few seconds someone in the room either cheers like they just won the lottery or groans like the world ended. And then there's you. You're sitting there calmly, maybe sipping tea, maybe scrolling your phone, maybe wondering why everyone suddenly turned into emotional volcanoes over a ball moving across a field. Someone eventually looks at you and says, "Wait, you don't follow sports?" And when you say no, they react like you just admitted you've never heard of gravity. "How is that possible?" they ask. It's such a common reaction that people who don't obsess over sports sometimes feel like they're the strange ones, like they're missing some secret human instinct that everyone else got. But here's the fascinating thing. Psychologically speaking, your brain isn't broken at all. It's just wired a little differently. Let me show you why. Humans have always been tribal creatures. Thousands of years ago, survival depended on belonging to a group. Your tribe hunted together, protected each other, and defended territory. If your tribe lost, it could literally mean life or death. Modern sports tap directly into that ancient tribal wiring. When someone supports a team, their brain treats that team almost like a tribe. The colors, the logos, the stadium chants, they become symbols of belonging. When the team wins, it feels like we won. When the team loses, it feels personal. Psychologists call this social identity. Our brains attach part of our identity to the groups we belong to. And sports fandom is one of the easiest groups to join. You don't have to train for years. You don't need special skills. All you need is loyalty and emotional investment. But here's where things get interesting. Not every brain forms that emotional bond with sports. Some people watch a game and feel nothing more than mild curiosity. To them, it's simply a competition between athletes they don't personally know. It's like watching strangers play chess in the park. Impressive? Sure. Emotionally life-changing? Not really. So why does this difference happen? A big reason is how your brain allocates attention. Every human mind has limited attention, like a spotlight that can only shine on a few things at a time. Your brain constantly decides what deserves that spotlight. For sports fans, that spotlight naturally lands on games, players, rivalries, and statistics. They remember match scores from years ago and analyze strategies like detectives solving a mystery. But other people's spotlights point somewhere else entirely, maybe toward music, maybe toward storytelling, maybe toward psychology, technology, philosophy, or creativity. Your brain simply asks one quiet question: does this excite me? If the answer is no, the brain moves on. Another interesting factor is dopamine, the chemical that drives motivation and excitement. Sports are built around uncertainty. Will the team win? Will there be a comeback? Will something dramatic happen in the last second? That unpredictability triggers dopamine in fans. Their brains love the suspense. But if your brain doesn't emotionally care about the teams involved, the suspense disappears. Imagine watching a movie where you don't care about any of the characters. Explosions might be happening on screen, but you're still thinking about dinner. That's how sports can feel to someone who simply doesn't attach emotional meaning to it. There's also something deeper happening in personality psychology. Research often shows that people who don't strongly follow mainstream group interests sometimes lean toward independent thinking. Their sense of identity isn't built around belonging to popular cultural tribes. Instead, they build identity around personal interests. Think about it. One person might say, "I'm a fan of this team." Another person might say, "I'm someone who loves learning how the mind works," or "I love creating things," or "I love exploring ideas." Both identities are meaningful. They're just built differently. And if you're someone who never got the sports obsession, there's a good chance your brain naturally searches for stimulation in other places. Maybe you enjoy solving problems. Maybe you love understanding human behavior. Maybe you get excited about building something, writing something, learning something new. Your brain still wants excitement. It just finds it in curiosity rather than competition. But there's another side to this experience that people rarely talk about. Not being interested in sports can sometimes make social situations feel awkward. At work, people talk about the game from last night. At school, everyone debates which team will win. At family gatherings, conversations revolve around players and scores. And if you're not part of that conversation, you might feel like you're standing just outside the circle. That feeling is real. Humans naturally bond through shared interests. But here's the part people forget. Sports are only one of thousands of ways humans bond. Some people bond over movies, some over gaming, some over books, some over business ideas, science, art, or deep late-night conversations about life. Every group forms its own tribe around something. Sports just happen to be the loudest tribe. But the quiet tribes exist too. And often, the people who don't obsess over sports develop a slightly different relationship with identity. Instead of defining themselves through teams, they explore personal curiosity more deeply. They become the ones asking strange questions. Why do humans behave the way they do? Why do certain ideas spread? Why does the brain crave meaning? That kind of curiosity leads to a different kind of excitement. Not the loud cheering of a stadium, but the quiet thrill of discovering something new. And if you think about it, both experiences are forms of passion. One is external and collective, the other is internal and reflective. Neither one is wrong, they're just different ways the human mind searches for meaning. So if you've ever sat in a room where everyone is yelling at the TV while you're wondering what all the fuss is about, you're not strange. Your brain simply chose a different arena. Instead of chasing scoreboards, maybe you chase ideas. Instead of following teams, maybe you follow curiosity. And honestly, curiosity might be the most fascinating sport of all, because the more you explore it, the bigger the playing field becomes. Now I'm curious about you. Do you enjoy sports, or do you feel completely disconnected from them? And if sports never grabbed your attention, what does? Let me know in the comments. I genuinely love to hear your perspective. And if you enjoy exploring the hidden psychology behind everyday behaviors like this, consider subscribing, because the human mind is a much more interesting game than we usually realize.